All right, we welcome everyone to today's press conference with head coach Kyle Smith. If you have questions, please use the raise hand icon to notify us that you are interested in asking a question, and we will give you access from there to speak. With that, we will open it up to Jamie Vinnick from Cougs Fan. We'll go from there. Thanks.
Coach, first off, I got to take a little offense to the stray I caught after the game Sunday. Shame on Vinnick. Goodness gracious. What did I do to deserve that?
You tell me. It was New Year's Eve. What were you doing the night before? Where were you?
Spending time with the family, Coach. Spending time with the family.
I did my fault. I thought you just might have had you might have rung it in a big way. I don't know. It's familiar face I'm used to seeing.
Hey, I may have enjoyed a Modelo after the game. I can't speak to that. Just who knows?
All good. It's all in good fun. Go ahead.
On the basketball front, I mean, how much does that game against USC to you kind of feel like a little bit of a weight off the back? Not only you beat them for the first time, but you get that first conference win and maybe up the confidence a little bit after a couple of tough ones.
100%. I mean, I think I'm just proud of the team. Like coaches will tell you they know. I mean, I've felt good about our guys even after the UCLA game, and they would have every reason to come out flat and dejected, and they didn't, and they haven't this year. I mean, I told them, our schedule, as a head coach in turn, put them in a bad situation going out to Baylor and then going out to Hawaii, and we, that's a tough. Knowing the country's going to play their best probably on that much travel, and then to come back and play that well and then get the result was really important. We talked about it too. If we'd held on against UCLA, would we have come out and played as well against USC? You never know, but certainly gave us a little confidence, a little belief. We needed it.
You mentioned the schedule and the toughness of all those road games, but as you get into now the Pac-12 road games, I mean, do you feel like there is some advantage to having played, a handful of road games when you you're heading down to the desert and tough places to play?
There should be, and it's all part of growth, and that's always like, nothing goes in a straight line on improvement. Like there's going to be some 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and hopefully we've gotten that out of our system a little bit. Our first 6 games in the league are, I think, all top half teams on projected, I would say, and one of the best teams in the country. Both these teams. I mean, Arizona State, I think their starting 5 has some really like one of the best group of 5s out there. And then you're going to play Arizona down there. So got to work cut out for us, and they'll see if we can, play better on the road and build off what we did.
Really for the most part, a 7-man rotation against USC. Is that kind of where you feel like things are trending a little bit, where maybe you play an 8th if necessary, but kind of stick to those 7?
That's what's hard. One of the hardest things in coaching, and I've asked every coach, is how you deal with guys coming back from injuries, because there's this certain euphoria that your fan base, everyone's like, oh, your team, like, hey, we got this guy back. I'm like, it's gonna throw your team off kilter one way or the other. Usually don't play better. I'd say 20% of the time you just play better right away. I'd say the other 8, there's an adjustment. And I think less is more in that situation where it worked out against those teams. And I do like, I'd say those 7 guys. And then you got AD as a backup center. He's kind of established, doing a good job as 8th. But Carlos has been great for us. And that's a tough one because he gets himself ready. And we just have a lot of 6'5" to 6'8" guys that are kind of playing those minutes, and he's been good. So he's got to stay ready. And then Dylan, who'd been struggling, no doubt, but have him ready as an extra ball handler. But it just seems like with Kimani kind of taking on those ball handling responsibilities, Jabe getting back healthy, Justin, those kind of our 3 guards. And then, Bamba can play both guard, forward, kind of our best defender with Andre, and Rodman has been just good. The experience, like getting to where we wanted, we thought we returned 7 guys from last year and in a really sturdy 5 with, if you had Deshaun, Mo, DJ, Andre, and Bamba, I felt like our front court was really good. So it's kind of coming together, and just I think that's where we're at, and just keep moving.
Just last thing in regards to Kimani, I mean, maybe not seeing a ton of scoring, a couple points here and there, but it just seems that when he's on the floor, everything spreads out a little bit more just because of how good of a passer he is and how much he can kind of spread out the defense. When you look at him as a freshman, I know you mentioned Dalen Terry a few weeks ago as kind of a comparison. Are you still seeing that kind of player that just can do a little bit of everything?
Absolutely. I think he's we'll call him the French Army knife. He's not Swiss, he's French. And he can be right now. It's like we need him to help Justin with the ball handling and Jabe. And that's a lot for a freshman to do. And, everyone's like, hey, he's a 6'6" point guard. I'm like, man, there's not many of those, and especially do as a freshman. And he's kind of, he's being that secondary ball handler and hopefully a primary ball handler one day, kind of like what's the kid that played at Utah about 7 years ago? Can't think of his name. He's in the league. But that would be a high end, when Dalen Terry, one of those guys, and Terry played the wing and then he plays some guard. And, obviously he's in the same box, it's just to see how much he can improve and him making the culture change and academically. And there's a lot in these. There's just a wonderful, wonderful kid. I see that he does some good things. He'll score too when there'll be opportunities. Just the more comfortable he gets, and he's just doing great things.
DeLon Wright, is that who you're going for from Utah?
Yes. God, I'm getting old.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Vinny.
All right, we'll give it to Julian. Go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Kyle, just wanted to piggyback off the questions about the games over the weekend. How huge was it, not just to get a win in conference, but to the guys' resolve from giving up an emotional lead late in that UCLA game, but then having a lead and not surrendering it just 2 days later?
It's tremendous. And they're lucky they got a coach who'll take full responsibility for that, surrendering the lead. I said UCLA went to switching there at the end, and we didn't attack it well, and we didn't necessarily prepared ourselves well enough. And maybe they said, hey, okay, coach, it's on you. But nonetheless, it hurt a lot. And I'm just proud. We didn't spend much time talking about it because it was such a quick turnaround. And it said on to SC. It's going to be a great challenge for us to see what we can do in a 36-hour. And they were playing, I don't know what they won a bunch in a row, 7 in a row, and they drilled Washington on the road, and they're coming there playing. And their talents, boy, it's very comparable to UCLA. They're not as experienced, not as gritty, I don't think, just because probably their age, but they got a lot of depth. And that team's, I think that's a tournament team, and they're going to win a lot of games. And that was just for us to, and they made a run at us the second half, and we just haven't been in that situation where, we got to salt one away, put a game away. At the first, I was like, we haven't done it. I was like, man, we didn't look. It's like I have to go back to the Portland State scrimmage. We're up like double figures. We're in a somewhat tight, close game late, and have to, execute down the stretch, which we didn't do against UCLA, and then we're able to do against SC.
And where do you think DJ has made the biggest strides this season? Because he's been excellent, especially over these last 2 games.
It's so good to see guys grow up in your program, and that's what we got to be. And he just got a confidence about him. He had an awesome summer, and people don't know that. Just as far as work ethic and his playing pickup, and then we had about a 5-6 week break, and he had patellar tendonitis or something. It really slowed him down. He missed a lot of the fall. So hopefully, I think he's getting back where he's just confident. He kind of said, like, he's from Southern California. He's a senior, and he's like, I want to take on Jaquez or whatever. And he wasn't not even vocal, just telling his body language. And then he had to take Peterson the next night. And those are two of the top 5 guys in the league. If not, Jaquez might be player of the year, and Peterson will be a contender too. So, and they're going to do good things, but having a senior that he's got to be up there in the country leading charges taken, that gives your team courage and spray. And it's a stop. It's another way to stop. He's just a really smart player, and he's always been good on our plus minus every year. I think he's always helped us more, and he's hurt us out there, and he's just getting confident. And Coach Andrzej's taking him under his wing a little bit with the shooting, and he's starting to blossom. And I think some of that was showing up we saw it coming into his freshman year, and it's just been a process. And that last thing, I'm babbling, but I'm really proud of him too, because he took Dylan Darling under his wing the other day and said, hey man, same thing. My freshman year, coming his freshman year, I was projected to be a starter. I had a really good summer, and it was hard, and I had to keep battling, and that's kind of what Dylan did's going through too. So that's the kind of things you want in year 4 is, COVID kind of sidetrack, but guys like Bamba, Rodman, Andre, Mo, those guys growing up in your program, Carlos even, he's in his 3rd year. He's got knowledge what the program's about. He's a great attitude. He's a worker. He's a good teammate and all those things. And seeing those guys, that's what win games. I think that's what people in this community would get behind too. Going back to every team that's been good here has that kind of people have a relationship. And my mom's favorite player is DJ, and my mother-in-law, his favorite player is DJ. So he must have thrown off some good vibes, and he's just kind of winner. He's got the DNA.
And last thing for me here, what makes Arizona State so tough? Quickness.
In their experience, they got they really did a great job in the portal with the brothers, the Cambridge brothers, who are, one's a 6-year. This is true story. I was actually called, whichever Cambridge it is, that when I was at Columbia, the assistant at Vanderbilt recommended him to me and said, "Hey, this guy is a really good student." And then I got the San Francisco job, I think a couple of weeks later. I wish I would have kept recruiting him, taken him there, but that's 2 jobs ago. So he's in his 6th year. He's old. He's gotten really good. His brother's, I think, a year or 2 younger, who's really good. The transfer from Auburn, and struck gold. And Frankie Collins just getting a second, breath or whatever. Just wasn't fitting in Michigan, and just boy, he's been tremendous. Warren Washington's good, and who's their 5th? Oh, and they got Horn coming back, who's a really good player. So they just they got good foot speed, and then come off the bench with some real. They don't slow down. They got really good defenders and quickness, and I think that's kind of team that Coach Hurley really likes. And they have an identity, and that always helps you. Quickness, and it's kind of what he's had when he's good teams. He's had those kind of teams.
All right, we will give access to Colton Clark.
You should have told me
More.
3.
We got one.
Oh, jeez, let's go.
Morning, Coach. How's it going?
Great, Cole. How you doing?
Great, thank you. I wonder, with Mo and Adrame on the floor together, was that the first time against UCLA? How much has that been used? What do you like about that tandem, and how much do you kind of expect it to continue?
It's we'll need it going forward. And maybe even Jack against or Wilson against someone. Just got to and Adrame's been getting better. We can get a rebound. I mean, Adrame's rebounding rate is insane, and then you get Mo really playing his more natural position, that we can defend and rebound better. And it was like either we go zone in that situation against UCLA late when we had DJ picked up his 4th foul, or we're just going to try to be big around the rim, because they're just going to bring it to the rim with Jaquez or Clark and that. And so we're like, hey, we're going to be good. And we haven't played a lot offensively. And I was like, the possessions won't look as pretty, but we'll be on the offensive glass. We'll be, there'll be something. And we actually had I remember one possession, Mo got 2 good looks. Jaquez blocked one, he got it back, then he missed the turnaround, and then Adrame punched the offensive board out, and then Singleton ran over Bamba. It should have been put us at the line. Those are the possessions we'll get. And it should have been shooting 2, but it didn't happen. But I was like, they'll just be really athletic and quick, obviously. But we'll need some of that against certain matchups, I believe.
And with Jabe coming off the bench, is that just because he's not, 100% yet? Do you expect him to continue coming off the bench, or maybe figure back into the starting lineup?
You know what? I like where he's at right now. I think he's a great teammate. I think it's gives us some juice off the bench, and he looked moving a lot better this weekend, and he didn't turn the ball over. He's just getting better. So he played great. So we'll just try to keep. I like the way we're starting with the kind of the veterans that have been in the program, plus Powell right now, and that's I think it gives us a certain maturity. And Jabe's one of those too. You could plug him in there for any of those guys outside of Mo, and you'd be fine. But I think he's comfortable in that role. Then we'll just see where it goes from there.
Is there any chance, do you think, in the future that Mael returns, or is he done with?
Nah, he's going to play professionally. He had some some family issues that, health, it's just, it's a risk you take when you take a guy from another adapting to this. And he's a fun kid, and has a lot of confidence, a lot of belief, and those things can happen. So, wish him the best. I think he's going to just play professionally in France probably.
And when you lost him, how did that affect the rotation, or how quick did you have to work to kind of fill those minutes, and what was kind of the main thing you did there?
Well, Andre coming back healthy helps, so you could get you a little different, but a stretch. Rodman playing the floor, but just another big body that can stretch the floor, and it just vaulted on Adrame into like, all right, Adrame, you're gonna have to be our backup center here, and Jack, and just change our dynamic, because Mael's one thing what did miss, he gave us a chance to be, play a stretch center against teams that are playing drop and ball screen coverage, and that would get you nervous. But and I think he had a chance to be a good player, but it's going to take another year, for him to really to become what he hoped he could be and what we hoped he could be. But I don't know, faith, family issues pop up. You're going to have to, it's tough being that far from home, I'm sure.
Kind of an overarching deal here, but there a facet area of the team that you're least concerned about, you think is most locked down right now, and then kind of what's your priority for improvement going forward into starting conference play for real now, kind of?
I think our point guard play is like Justin was great last game, and I wouldn't necessarily, Justin has to guard off the ball. We need someone that can guard the ball, and we put Bamba in that position. So Kimani being able to step up, and though he's 6'6", like I said, that's the area of the ball handling has been a struggle for us. So getting there, but having Andre and Dave back helps the maturity of the team. So a guy like Kimani can grow in there, and hopefully Dylan can see some light there where he can help us, and kind of threw him to the wolves when we were hurt. It's just a bad situation where you got playing a lot of freshmen together, and it's just that, like, you're at UNLV, they're undefeated. We got 3 freshmen on the floor at the same time, and it's just tough. So I think we're in a better position. We'll see. And I think, like I said, those 6'7", 6'6" guys that all play the 2, 3, and 4 there are pretty comfortable together. That's probably our biggest strength. And backup center, backup Mo. When Mo's not in the game, I'll try to play him 40.
When it comes to those, we've seen a few of the scoring droughts this year, and is there kind of a theme there? What do you think's the main reason behind some of those, and how have you addressed those a little bit?
I think we've seen every defensive coverage. I think it was, and when they test us, and we've been good against certain coverages when they've blitzed us or doubled us. We've been okay, but we've also been bad. Like Vegas, we've been able to handle it, and then we've seen a lot of drop coverage where they don't let us shoot. But I think as Mo emerges, like he did, even like the SC game he was 12-4, but he was really good because we were able to play through him. He was able to find other guys. He didn't turn the ball over. That was the first time we beat that defensive coverage. I think Hawaii played us that way, and they got, we didn't handle it as well. And that was on the road, and they're a pretty gritty old team. So that was growth. Hawaii, we couldn't get it done. SC, we handled it well. Arizona State will be more like UCLA as far as the pressure and playing the ball and stuff like that. So we'll see if we can handle that on the road.
Thanks very much. Good luck this week.
All right.
All right, and we'll give Bruce access to speak.
Yeah, hey Kyle, it's Bruce Pasca down here in Tucson. I was just wondering, maybe you spoke to some of this already, but just you talked about the UCLA game, and I was wondering, is there any comparison to the Utah game and things that you just didn't quite get over the hump in those games where you did maybe in some of the others?
Yeah, the strong comparison. The Utah game, we actually just really had brain fart.
Yeah.
We fouled to get him at the line, just one of those, and kind of gave that one away. And then UCLA is good, and we turned it over, but someone was there. Like I said, they did some things they changed their defensive scheme. We hadn't been in that situation a lot, and credit to them, they made some plays. And I had to, put and played the freshman point guard the last possession there, and was a playmaker for us that game, and he turns it over and they get a bucket, and it happens. But we also made a great play. Proud of it, like the last possession UCLA game where Bamba hits Mo on a roll down the middle, and Mo was a little too unselfish. Wish we shot it, but we made a good play there. So had opportunities, got to close them out, got to get it done, get over the hump.
Yeah. Do you feel like because you are in that? I mean, do you feel like you guys could be in the mix? For the top half of the conference, or on the bubble? Where do you kind of?
I think
what you've been through. Where do you judge you guys?
Well, it's too hard to tell, but I think healthy, we've been pretty good. Bottom line, we just haven't had the whole group. I mean, obviously, we took a thunderbolt losing Deshaun and Miles before the season, and Deshaun was definitely our starting center, and Miles probably projected. Kind of what we're missing there is like getting that out of Kimani or Dylan, and Miles would have been there, but so it changes our dynamic of our team. But that team's played pretty well. It's too early to tell, I think, but we've played at Oregon. Utah's undefeated at home. That one we should have won. I should have been able to win that one at the end. UCLA, one of the best teams in the country, had a chance. And so we played pretty well at Oregon. They beat us, but we've had a chance at another 3. So we'll see. And this is my God, we run into the Arizona trip.
Yeah.
It doesn't get easier. So
right. Well, my last question was just kind of about that. I mean, you did well with a quick turnaround last week, and now you have another one. Any tricks you do when you have that earlier Saturday game, and does it matter whether you're on the road or at home?
I like the earlier games just from get the game out of the way as a coach to relieve the anxiety. There's no tricks. We abbreviate some things, but we try to keep things consistent. But we kind of have and I think the Arizona game is a 3:00 game.
Yeah, 3:00 Mountain.
That's like the trickiest time, actually. If it's earlier, 1 or earlier, we don't really do anything on game day. We just go play. After that, then it gets tricky. So we'll figure something out. And it's been a long stretch, and again, it's a quick turnaround, and we're losing an hour time zone, and it's Pullman to Tucson's a little further than people think.
Yeah. Well, is that the upside that you can get back to Pullman Saturday night at least, or how does that work?
Amen. Well, early Sunday morning, I think.
Oh, still Sunday morning, because I wondered if you could get a flight like at 7 or something where you get home.
Yeah, I think it's Tucson, Seattle, Spokane, Spokane, hour and 20 home, baby. That's how the Cougs roll.
Right. All right. Well, good luck this week. All right. Thanks.
All right, Bruce.
One more question from Colton.
Jeez, Colton. My coffee's getting cold.
Go ahead, Colton.
How's the quad doing? That was what I was wondering.
Oh, great question. You know what? I'm a bit of a drama. He said, probably can't say a little bit of drama. It's fine. It's fine. It's a little tender, a little hard going upstairs, but fine. I guess it's a little emotional. Okay, I can't give our players any crap when they overreact to being hurt, so it's fine. I kind of wish it was a little more, so I could say that the drama I created was worthy, but it wasn't. So I'm fine.
That's great to hear. Thanks a lot, Coach. Have a good one.
Thanks.